the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP. The executive director is Ben Boachi. Ben, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. As persons who have interest in our energy sector, and thermal oil refinery being a huge one, which has been a white elephant for some time now, do you have full briefing of what the plan is with Torrentco, and what are the issues out of there? Which issues you think ought to be answered?
Thanks for having me. I think, I've seen the draft agreement. I've seen some concerns raised by some of the workers. And I think, in principle, everybody who understands what has happened to TOR over the years would not necessarily oppose, any injection of private interest into the operations of TOR. In fact, if you check our writings, we have actually made it clear that it was time that government diversified its interest and allow, private capital to come in. And because we speak on a yearly basis, the public is paying about 330 million Ghana cedis in the name of TOR, in the name of TOR recovery levy. And we have paid these sums for the past 20 years. All right, and there is no end in sight. We don't know when we will stop paying that. So the earlier we find options to really structure the operations of TOR, better it will be for every citizen. But that doesn't mean that, we just wake up and hand the company over to anybody that shows up with interest without ensuring that that company is capable, has the resources, and can guarantee the people of Ghana that they can actually manage the assets well. And the only way you can do that is to check the profile, the background of the company, what they have done before, if not even worked before. Who are they partnering to be able to deliver value for the good people of Ghana? And is that they don't take in of the box. They don't have experience. They don't have any strong backing from any reputable refinery or oil trader that allows them to convince government or TOR that they have the capacity to actually deliver value. Just like, with no disrespect to you, Omaru going to TOR and telling TOR that you can suddenly be a refiner, you have money. And then TOR says, okay, let me give you the job to do. When everybody knows that you are a journalist. All right? So, no governance expert will sit and say, this is a transaction above board. And how do you even determine that, Torrentco is the one that is fit to be able to do? And that's why I find the contribution or the intervention of the union chairman extremely interesting, where he says that is the option available. And how that becomes the only option available, I don't really understand how he came by that, when you have not even put it up for anybody to bid for it or for others to express interest in managing TOR for you to be able to do that. And even hearing for the first time from the other guy on the call, I don't know them, but he makes a very significant...
Yeah, that is, he's a member of UNICOF, but he spoke on condition of anonymity, but he's a worker there.
Yes. So he makes the point that you're only leasing the seed.
Ben, I lost you briefly there. If you could repeat what you just said.
Yes. So the point I was making is that you're only leasing the CDU, just a fraction of the entire refinery to this company. How do you use the other components of the refinery, which is the RCC and the rest of it? How do you use them? It means that 6 years that when you use the CDU, those other infrastructure will still be lying idle without utilizing them. And that's also our assets, our resources. And if we can find an investor that can use the entire infrastructure, why do you lease a component for a year without thinking about the other infrastructure and what you do with them? All right. And I'm really shocked that you just use a CDU because you are not going to get a product that can meet the standards in Ghana. So how are you going to sell the product? unless we are only interested in, stripping the products apart and then sell it to other markets for other refineries to then break it down. And that could only be a process to maybe source contraband products, strip them into pieces, and then go and refine them somewhere else. So, I mean, in the coming days, these are the issues that we'll be looking into. Why would they be interested in only the CDU that will not produce products that will meet our local standards? And yet, that is the best option on the table for the Ghanaian people.
We have tried to reach Tema Oil Refinery. We were not successful in getting an interview. This agreement that you saw, the contract you saw, was it between the management of TOR and Torrentco, or the management or the Ministry of Energy? Who really is entering into this deal?
I mean, those are questions that maybe lawyers can help us to actually deal with. The asset owner is Ministry of Finance and State Enterprises Commission. So I don't know whether TOR on its own would be able to lease an asset without recourse to them. I've seen letters written by PPA directing them to go to the Ministry of Finance to go and engage on that process. I don't know how far they have gone with that. But that is also another fundamental point to raise, because the agreement is between TOR and Torrentco, seeking to lease the asset to Torrentco.
And if I understand the union chair, because the company has not spoken to us, there will be a change of management. And it's interesting that it's a management that is going to be changed that is entering into this deal.
But I mean, again, how do you change management when they are only taking the CDU? The other infrastructure that exists in the same compound. So where would the TOR management sit to manage the other assets?
Interesting. Final issue. TOR has been a problem child for this country. We've paid TOR debts. We've seen TOR shut down for years. TOR, the engine, or the TOR, the infrastructure that was set up decades ago, is not what we see now. And there's a huge Chinese refinery coming up just 500, 600 meters away from TOR, the Centio Oil. And if that comes upstream, we worry for that state asset, the Tema Oil Refinery. There have always been demands and calls for the company to be revamped. If it has been idle anyway, and someone now wants to come to revamp it, should we be questioning insofar as it's going to be operational? Should we not just say, hooray, finally we have some solution?
Yeah, I think you are just saying what is happening at this point, that somebody concludes that, the TOR hasn't been operating, it hasn't been functional, not generating value, and therefore let me just hand it to somebody I want. That is not governance. That is not proper way of, dealing with these matters. We need to have the competency to, at the barest minimum, establish the value of the asset is, and determine what we want out of that asset, and then call for people who want to give us that value. If they cannot give us what we want, then we negotiate from their perspective what they want to give us. As we speak, you and I do not know what value TOR and its management is placing on the asset, for which reason they're only inviting one company to negotiate with and hand the asset to. And that the proper way to do is to have, that background work done, and then you call for tender. And as we speak, I mean, the last year alone, I've seen many companies interested in, taking over the asset, and the other speculative interest around it. So open it up, be transparent about it, ask for everybody who is interested and say, I want 50, I want even 1 million, or I don't even want money. Who wants it, and what do you want to give me? And then you have bids that you can compare and choose the best out. And then the public will be interested in how you do that and agree with the process or disagree with it. But to just select somebody because you think TOR is not making money and just give the company out in a manner that they are doing, I think it raises a lot of red flags and even question whether the barest minimum that is being promised can even be delivered. Because, first of all, this is a company that was just set up this year in January. We don't trace them to any serious company that we can be comfortable and say that at least we know this reputable company is behind it. And for anything at all, you can call or shame them. I mean, this is a new company. If they fail to deliver,
New
You have no
company
say.
new company formed here in Ghana or abroad?
Formed here in Ghana in 2023.
So it's a local
Correct.
Ghanaian person or possible Ghanaian partner that created this
A local
company.
Ghanaian company. This is a local Ghanaian company.
Formed in 2023.
January 2023, with no track record of even selling kerosene on the market before.
With the purpose of taking over TOR ultimately.
I mean, their filings show that they can do many other things, many other businesses, including refining. Right? But they don't have any track record of doing any petroleum business.
Do we know who the owners are, the directors? Maybe have you checked with the registrar general, or I should do that?
The data is available. I don't have it where I am right now, but the data is available. I can send them to you. The names are there. The registrar general data shows the specific individuals. I don't know them. I've never heard of them. We've tracked and checked. Those individuals are not known in the industry or any industry globally, in the oil industry globally. All right, to show that they are able to deliver the value that they are promising to us. And those are the red flags that are being raised, not just the sole source arrangement, which of course is already problematic, but the capacity of the company itself to be able to deliver what they are promising to deliver.
Thank you, Ben, for speaking to us.